Diversity and inclusion is obviously high on our agenda, especially as it's basically it's a global issue everyone's trying to tackle. We've got an office in London, New York, now Dubai, which is why I'm here. It's my first Cityscape, which I'm very, very excited about, and Singapore. So I'm really excited to hear from our guests about their journeys as being female founders and their experience of being within this space. So, Ranime, why don't you start off and introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Thank you, Louisa. So my name is Ranime, and I am the CEO and co-founder of PropAI. My relationship with the real estate has started from when I was a kid. My dad is very much involved, so it was kind of a normal conversation over dinner, you know, what happened to the building that he's building, etc. But then I came to the GCC almost 10 years ago, and I was working with McKinsey here. And then I ended up witnessing all of the changes and amazing things that happened in the real estate in this part of the world. I was involved in the mega and giga projects, and I have witnessed amazing things. It was truly inspiring. And then even when I did a little bit of private equity after McKinsey, I was still within real estate. And almost a year ago, I decided I had this itch to do something, and then real estate was of course on top of my mind. So I started PropAI, and it started out of our own pain point. So we wanted to invest in real estate. We didn't know where to start or how to start. So we needed a solution, and this is how PropAI came to life. We wanted to do something for real estate investors, of course, very data-driven, very analysis-driven, very financial-driven. So PropAI in like 10 seconds does that. It's an AI co-pilot that helps you as an investor in real estate find the right place in the world and the right property to invest in, help you analyze it, and then help you close the deal.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. Silvia, what about you? Introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Louisa. I'm Silvia Eldawi, the founder of Propology, which is the #1 edutainment platform for property professionals. I've been in the real estate industry for over 20 years. I know I don't look it. And I kind of got myself up to a leadership role very early on in my career. And there wasn't anywhere else to go apart from owning my own real estate agency, which I did not want to do. I saw the stress of it. I saw the agency owners losing hair and going grey before their time. So my next step was to co-found a PropTech startup, which was an investment management app. And now I've become a solopreneur. I've gone alone, so I've done the full 360. I've been an employee for 95% of my career. I've been a co-founder for 4% of my career, and now I'm a sole founder for the 1% of my career so far. So yeah.
Loving all the numbers.
I love it. I love a stat. Speaking of stats, let's go on to the next question. My business LMRE, we're self-funded. Recruitment isn't like technology. It's not very expensive to run. We just obviously have to hire people. But if you are a tech founder, you obviously have to raise a substantial amount of capital to create a product which hopefully people will want to buy. Obviously within this region, there's been a huge amount of investment going into tech, from whether it's VCs like, he put in I think it's a $27 million fund going specifically into PropTech. We've obviously seen other VCs like Fifth Wall launching here as well, and a few others which I know about, which is soon to come. But there's a stat which says last year 1% of VC funding went into women in the UAE alone. Not a large percentage, still higher than previous years, I imagine. What's your experience been of when you went to sort of raise capital for your business?
So, Louisa, to start with, I think 1% is a really alarming number to think about funding that's going to women. But what I believe is an even more alarming number is if we look into women penetration in founders and as founders or entrepreneurs, we can even see around the world it's around 10 to 20%, which by itself is also scary. So it's not just, the problem is not just from the funding side. No, it's from the funding side, and it's probably from creating that ecosystem or that environment that support women to, you know, take that leap of faith and then move into doing something by themselves and be founders. So of course, in the legacy, going back to legacy, yes, there's a problem of getting funding, and then as you said, that this is getting better and better. In terms of encouraging more and more women to go into it. I think there's also a big problem here. I think, and this is moving, this is changing, but you can start from, the start from when we were kids, technical, maybe supporting us technically, maybe giving us the assurance that this is something that we can do, but also then you go into the support system, into the different initiatives, into the funding by itself. So I can see that this is changing. Now in the region, there is of course this PropTech, but also you can find very specific VCs that invest in women founders that we are seeing more and more. We see initiatives such as She's Next by Visa, for example, that is also encouraging women. So I know it's scary right now, but we are at the verge of making all of that, or we are at the forefront of the change, and we want to make this change happen, and I think we're definitely moving in the right direction, I would say.
I guess the importance of having even these sort of fireside chats, talking about different people's experiences. I know there's Nikki Greenberg set up Women in PropTech, a global sort of community of women founders, so shout out to her. I don't know where she is, hopefully networking. Silvia, what about you? What's your experience?
My personal experience, I didn't experience any particular gender bias, potentially because it was myself plus 2 male co-founders, so it's probably not a good representation, but I think it complemented the founding team to have a woman on the kind of co-founding team on the cap table, but I don't necessarily think it's the reason why the percentage is so low. I don't think that it's any particular gender bias. I think it's more of a female behavioral trend, because 48% of female-owned businesses are solely founded by women, which in itself, having a sole founder is not very attractive to VCs. So that's one point to consider. So typically it's women. And then also women tend to mostly want to bootstrap rather than go out and raise external funding, perhaps because we're a bit more risk averse. So I think it's more of a behavioral trend that we need to address rather than any kind of discrimination or bias.
Awesome. And in terms of, I guess there's a lot of stigma saying, the challenges. When I caught up with these two lovely ladies, we were saying actually there's a huge amount of positives being a female founder, female thought leader in this space. You consider there's so many strengths in that. What would you share with us, for Ranime, for your experience of that?
Listen, I think regardless of gender, being an entrepreneur and being a founder is a very, very, very difficult journey. And I've done a bunch of other things, and I still think that my journey as an entrepreneur has been probably one of the hardest things that I had to do. But it is also amazing. And as women, instead of looking at it as a disadvantage, I would like to look at it as an advantage. We do have a lot of things that we can, or that we should leverage as women founders. We tend to be better on empathy. We tend to be better at reading the room. We tend to be better at connecting with people, be it our team, be it our clients. We're able to read them better. We also tend to be better at multitasking. That's everyone knows that.
Really?
And as an entrepreneur, you need to multitask a bunch. So I do really think that those are a lot of skills that are innate to us. That instead of looking at it as us being disadvantaged as being entrepreneurs, I do feel the need to feel like I am really privileged to be a woman and an entrepreneur right now.
100%. Silvia, what about you? I don't know if I could do 2 businesses or 2 startups. The first one will be enough, and then I'm out.
I completely echo what you say, and I'll just add to it that kind of sense of female intuition, which benefits a startup. So also you may also take on that kind of maternal role within the team. You're more kind of emotionally in tune with your employees and your people. So I think it definitely is an advantage to have a woman on the panel.
Yeah, I think obviously I see it from the hiring side. If you're looking, say if you're a tech founder, you're hiring for account management, customer success, anything like that, the percentage of success stories are often actually women who do those roles, down to the sort of the softer skills. And obviously you have AI and these technologies coming through, which obviously are getting rid of mundane tasks. people still want that personal touch, someone to listen to them, empathise, and all of that. Very conscious of time, so we're going to wrap up with a couple of fun questions. So, what would you say to young women globally who are at the beginning of their careers? Something maybe you wish you'd known. Big question.
Very good question. I say, don't be scared in general, but also don't be scared to fail. I know I have failed a bunch. It is more of a learning opportunity than anything. Second thing would be patient. Things might take longer than you would expect it to be, and I know we tend to be impatient, we get anxious, and we get excited about things, but it's okay to be a little bit more patient about it. And then the third thing is be very intentional and smart about who you surround yourself with. And I think you need to build a very strong support system, be it whoever you're working with, be it your family, your partner in life, be it your friends. Just identify the people that believe in you and when you have a vision, and then make sure you surround yourself by such people.
Yeah, I'd say building on that, the recognizing and talking about the people you surround yourself with. My biggest thing which I learned since I founded it in 2018 was the power of social capital, leaning on people who are more senior than you, listening to you to get them to recommend you to whoever it is. It's my first Cityscape, and I reached out to any thought leader that I knew in this space, asking for introductions, so they can sort of vouch for me. Like, if you're not from, say, a certain region, a certain background, that can sometimes hold you back. So just always ask people for referrals and recommendations, as long as you're good at what you do. Silvia, what about you? Give us a final bit of advice before we wrap it up.
I think it's not my advice, it's more Sheryl Sandberg. I don't know, was she the CEO of Facebook or something?
Yeah,
so she made a very interesting observation in her book, Lean In, and she said that, I think this was a LinkedIn study, and it said men will apply for a job when they tick 60% of the boxes, and women have to tick 100% of the boxes before they consider applying. So I would say, as women, we need to be brave, exaggerate, and be prepared for rejection. So apply. Do that. If you tick 60% of the boxes, apply, and be prepared for rejection. It's not a bad thing. Just be brave, courageous, and go for it.
Yeah, don't let the
And
truth
freeze
get in the
your
way of a
eggs.
good story.
Freeze your eggs. 40 creeps up very, very quickly.
On that note, thank you, ladies, for sharing your insights. It's great to know about basically your journeys. That getting funding shouldn't be an issue, and just some tips for people looking to become future founders. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Louisa.
Wonderful. I think sorry, that was my fault, by the way. I think this is a particularly important topic, and just a little story picking up on something that was said in all of this, because I think it's absolutely fundamentally important. Silvia mentioned about behavioural aspects. I once ran a conference and I asked for the best female speakers. And I reiterated it, and I said, I want the best female speakers because I want 50% men, 50% women on the conferences. I got criticised in a private message to me by a leader of a global women's group saying, James, you're doing this all wrong. It's the right mentality, but you're doing it all wrong. Because no woman will say that they are the best speaker. And it was the word best which got in the way. And this is where I think we've got to look at things as a generational shift. And we go through these phases where at the moment, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing, but you're not putting your head above the parapet to say we are the best, we can do this, and that 60%, 100% study is exactly right, which is you're not saying it, and that's what we need. We need to put more people on panels, we need to put more women as keynote speakers, because that's the platform for the next generation to then actually accelerate to get more women in senior positions, whether it be on a stage or within the business environment. It's so very important. Ladies, thank you so much, it was fantastic. So, we're coming to another one.